What it do, guys? It's the Chi Challenge Reacts, and I am your host, Uncle Chi, Theo Chi. And this video is not sponsored by anyone. So today we will be watching some reaction videos by some respectful and accredited journalists and people who actually research things. So we're going to be watching some videos by a few YouTubers, including my favorite YouTuber, BJ Investigates, that surprise witness, and she'll be covering some pointers, which is remarkable that this made it into her spectrum because she covers real important crazy stuff, and this being in the realm of hip-hop, I didn't think that it would get into her radar so fast. I knew it would, I just didn't know that it would get there so fast. And she covers the news faster than anybody I've ever seen on YouTube. No cap, never met her. Shouts to that surprise witness, shouts to BJ Investigate, shouts to everybody that we're covering on this. And we're just going to be reacting to some videos, guys. These are not professional opinions from us. These are professional opinions from some professionals. BJ Investigates, that surprise witness, did go to law school. And we're also going to have another lawyer giving his reactions on it. They are not giving legal advice. Once again, chat, I repeat, they are not providing any legal advice. All they are doing is reiterating whatever information they are following up on. BJ Investigates links are in the description, guys. If you want to watch any of these videos without me talking shit all over them, go ahead and hit the links in the description. You can watch them all by yourself. Right now, we're going to be doing a weekly recap, which is going to cover all the episodes that I've been catching on to. I was going to cover some of them early in the week, but it was going so fast. BJ was just killing them. The surprise witness, she was just killing them. She was just dropping them hot like pancakes. And then I was just starting to like, oh man, this is, I've never done any type of reaction videos to this degree where you're gonna even have an episode on Spotify. So guys, this episode will be on Spotify. This is our very first #1 reaction official video, and all of our sources where we got all our information will be in the description, guys. Don't forget, we are broadcasting live on Twitch, and we are broadcasting live on YouTube. So for you guys who are just tapping in, please don't forget to smash the like and the subscribe button. And at the same time, don't forget to drop a comment below. And if you don't want to hear all of this with me talking over it or skipping through stuff and going back and all that stuff, because we're gonna talk about it today. We're gonna start with this clip from the news because this is how I feel it all started off.
A music executive and community activist is accused of running a criminal empire in Los Angeles. Eugene Henley Jr. facing Rico charges.
Okay, guys.
Allegedly tying him to the notorious Rollin 60s street gang. Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay has more on his...
Now, guys, big update. This is allegedly the person who inspired the character Debo from the movie Friday. Now, he even says it in one of these clips. You will see him admit to that part. So he is very knowledgeable that he is that character. And we're just gonna let's get right to it. This is gonna be too long as it is.
A big group of supporters showing up at federal court to support Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U. He's facing Rico charges, and the Department of Justice also accusing him of murdering an aspiring rapper in 2021.
Yeah, that's the federal. That is another thing. This guy is allegedly the guy who handled PNB Rock as well as Nipsey Hussle. So let's get right into this. It's been a crazy week, guys. Welcome to your Friday. Every Friday, we'll be dropping new episodes. You already know it's the Chi Challenge, guys. It's your Uncle Chi. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the comments. Drop a comment. What do you want to see next? So let's go, guys.
Government usually does.
I will be eating while we watch this, guys. So I'll be like I said, this is gonna be too long, but it's gonna be long enough. This is why we're doing it live. I learned from the best. Shouts to that surprise witness. Don't know her personally, but that's where I learn my tricks and traits. So guys, you already know. Let's get right into it. These are the allegations.
Does not bring these types of charges unless they've done extensive investigation. It looks like he has been under investigation for several years.
Federal authorities allege the music executive used his connections with the South LA street gang to run a, quote, mafia-like organization.
And here's the crazy thing. This is on Channel 7. This has gotten so out of control. It is on Channel 7. What the craziness. Whoa. Que maldita loquera, my peoples. This is insane.
Investigators say Henley is one of 18 members of the Rollin 60s Crips.
And there we go. 18 members. And this is how they're going to hit him with a Rico. If there's 18 members, let me tell you something. If there's 18 members in this clique, let me just tell you that they're coming for every single member individually. Listen, the Rico don't play. It's crazy.
Charged in the federal complaint.
Oh my God.
He helped launch Nipsey Hussle's rap career. He's the father of an LA Chargers linebacker, and he's been admired as an anti-gang activist. Who also ran a non.
Did he say anti-gang activist?
Charged in the federal complaint. He helped launch Nipsey Hussle's rap career. He's the father of an LA Chargers linebacker, and he's been admired as an anti-gang activist who also ran a nonprofit. Wow. Prosecutors say he used it as a front. Now accused of embezzling those donations to fund his life, including donations from celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal and Draymond Green. Before surrendering to authorities yesterday, he posted to social media calling it a misunderstanding.
I'm disheartened by the fact that they trying to say that I stole something from developing option, or I used developing option as a front.
A statement from Los Angeles Press Secretary DeMarcus Fennell said in part, the city has zero tolerance for malfeasance and over the past 2 years increased oversight on gang reduction and youth development programs. This alleged act does not reflect the work of the GRYD program overall, which has helped lead to a dramatic decrease in gang-related violence citywide 2 years in a row. A detention hearing has now been set for Henley on March 31st. In downtown LA, Sophie Flay, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
My God. All right, listen. This is just the tip of the iceberg, chat. If you like how it's going, drop us 333 in the comments right now. We're watching the comment box. 333 in the comment box right now. I'm going to bring you to the next video. It gets crazier.
You know, it's like he forgot what he was doing was illegal. You know, I mean, and it's total self-snitching.
Shouts to CLR, Bruce Rivers. He covers it like you supposed to. This white boy right here, he on point.
Every one of these videos, every one of these Instagram posts, every one of these, you know, you got to check in or it's going to get hot, you know. All that is going to bite him in the
Mm-hmm.
He's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers.
Shouts to Bruce Rivers.
Defense lawyer. Today we are reacting to the Rolling 60s indictment in LA. Rolling 60s is a gang out in the gang. It's a club. It's not a gang.
It's a club.
There's a bunch of people who are getting
He's
indicted
stupid.
for Rico in the.
It's not a gang. It's a
area.
club.
And before we get to that, though, first of all, you know, I can't remember who gave me this, but somebody gave me. Well, I think her card is here. Mary, whatever. Mary W. Mary, you crocheted these nice.
Aw.
Coasters
Shouts to Mary, but we're
Thank
not
you.
here to see. Yo, you know,
Nice.
good
And
looking,
photo
Mary.
cards here about Michael. Ben, do it.
Let's get right to the juice.
He'd be alive. So.
Oh, yeah, no way. I got to
I mean,
bring
if
this
you
back.
do an intervention. Be as supportive as you can.
This is why he does
if you
it.
have to do an intervention, do an intervention. If you have to.
Guys,
commit
this
them.
is very important. This is very important here, and this
I'm
for
telling you,
everybody
if you know
who,
somebody like-
anybody who has a family member who is in drugs, who has a bad habit, alcoholism, drugs. It doesn't matter, man. You cannot give up on them, and this is what he's gonna tell you about this.
That step in, do whatever you can. Don't stop. Don't quit. Don't give them a lot of shit for being an addict. Be as supportive as you can, and if you have to do an intervention, do an intervention. If you have to, commit them.
That's a fact.
Commit him. I mean, if Michael was in jail right now for doing drugs, he'd be alive. So,
He lost his son.
Sometimes that helps, and I didn't realize how bad it was until it was too late.
That's a fact.
But that is what it is. So just remember that it's really important to support anybody that you know that's struggling with addiction.
Facts.
And sometimes it just means giving them a meal. One of the last things I did with Michael was I washed his hair because he thought bugs were all over him. And I was just trying to be kind to him. And he was 6
Respect.
feet tall, 127 pounds when he died.
Wow.
I don't mean to keep bringing it up, but he's the reason I'm even here doing this. And so, anyway, and then also we have some news. Grandma's still in the basement, and she's going to probably resurface around April 1st. So keep an eye out for Grandma.
Well, I don't know what that means, but I can't wait to find out.
So we're talking about the rolling 60s. You know, like here they had the rolling 30s. You know, that was an association of fellas who were in the streets.
He's stupid. They're a gang.
The rolling 60s.
They're a fucking big gang. You should be scared of. I'm afraid of. I don't even know them.
And Big U is one of the figures in the industry who came directly from the street, according to boss Valtown. But he is from the Arlington and Slauson, which is known as the 60s territory. The Arlington gang was led by Big U's cousin Chili Capone.
Oh my God.
And as time went on, Arlington guys would call themselves Rolling 60s as they were from the same area.
Oh
now,
my
here's
God.
the thing. The Big U and Chili did not start the gang, but they were like the second generation. These are not people to mess with, you know. And they all have, you know, a teardrop, not necessarily a teardrop, but they have. You know what that means.
Funny.
And Big U, who's like their main guy, claims not to have any directly join. He said he didn't directly join the 60s, but that the affiliation was a natural one, as he was an AG member, Arlington gang member. And he built his reputation on being an excellent fighter, learning martial arts, growing up.
Whoa. This guy is a martial artist? This is why this whole situation is going down. I thought they were supposed to teach you discipline and teach you not to use your hands as weapons. This guy here, he did the opposite. He saw that he could beat other people up, and he ran with that narrative.
And possessing natural leadership skills. And when Chili Capone died, you know, they all die young, right? He became the next leader of the AGs, or Arlington gang. And as the years went on, that just kind of morphed into the Rolling 60s. So they've indicted about 20 guys. You know, I'm doing one right now where they've indicted well over 45 guys, and they're continuing to indict people.
The indictment is
pulling
crazy.
people out of prison who are serving a 30-year sentence on a homicide to indict him on a murder case.
Wow.
So they never get out. I'm telling you, this is not. If you're sitting there thinking, "Hey, it's a cool idea to be in a gang," or
not now,
thinking, "I have to do this,"
you shouldn't.
Again, because this is happening all over the country.
Oh
It
yeah.
happened in Atlanta, and we know what happened there. The prosecutor fucked that case up royally, and Young Thug had just amazing lawyers, and they didn't give up, which is just amazing. As the crack epidemic came in, the focus shifted to getting money, which brought more enemies meant more firearms, and the gangs now had unlimited access. Big U would also rob dealers, and after attempting to rob and
I'm telling you, this is the real life Debo from Friday.
uncover officer who posed as a dealer, he was sent to prison for 23 years, serving only 12 before going to prison. Big U managed to corrupt in 1990, who would go on to sign with Death Row Records after Big U went to prison. All these guys go to prison. You're in a gang, guess what? You're going to prison or you're going to die. One of the two.
He's
And it
speaking
doesn't matter
facts.
how long and usually it's either for large drug crimes, and now it's Rico, which they can take any little thing and say it was in furtherance of the conspiracy. So it's
Which means they could grab you just for hanging out with the wrong people.
a conspiracy. You remember what we said? It's an agreement between two or more people and an act to do a criminal act, and then an act in furtherance of that conspiracy. 23
Let's listen to the definition of conspiracy from a lawyer one more time.
years, serving only 12 before going to prison. Big U managed to corrupt in 1990, who would go on to sign with Death Row Records after Big U went to prison. All these guys go to prison. You're in a gang, guess what? You're going to prison or you're going to die. One of the two. And it doesn't matter how long and usually it's either for large drug crimes, and now it's Rico, which they can take any little thing and say it was in furtherance of the conspiracy. So it's a conspiracy. You remember what we said? It's an agreement between two or more people and enact to do a criminal act, and then enact in furtherance of that conspiracy. They have a motto in the Rolling 60s, and the motto is, "You not 60s until you smoke one." You know
Oh,
what that
wow.
means, smoke on your ops. We talked about that.
Wow.
Imagine wanting to be part of an organization that has a motto basically saying, "You ain't a real one unless you backdoor and kill your brother." Example of what happened to Nipsey Hussle and
That's crazy,
you know,
fam.
Sandman Negus.
That is just crazy that the only way in is smoking somebody.
The amount of fame and clout Nipsey brought to them only for a tweaked out J-Cat from his hood to kill him. Oh, that's from the Boy Mess, whoever that is. And some of this stuff is just put together by our team here, and we're really trying to highlight, and what I'm trying to do is highlight the dangers of being in a gang and the dangers of not building a good life.
That's fact.
It might seem like a good idea at the time because notoriety, attention. They wanted to solid men and gravitate towards them every day. Every day build with that. You know, listen to your mother. Listen to your auntie. Make other plans. I hate to sound like an old fucking white
And I hate to
dude who doesn't
skip
know
his
what
shit,
he's
but
talking
if you
about.
want to
But I
watch
see
it
this
without,
every day.
you want to watch this without me skipping through shit and talking over people, then just go hit the links in the description. They there for a reason. Don't forget to follow the gram. Don't forget to follow the TikTok. Don't forget to follow the Twitch.
You know, I see the aftermath of this shit because I'm a criminal defense lawyer.
He
So
right.
I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
He
I'm
fucking
not
right
just
about
some,
that shit.
You know, Mr. Rogers dude putting on his fucking sneakers.
It is
and his
Mr. Rogers,
cardigan,
but
you know, sitting by
Mr. Rogers from the motherfucking hood. You understand? Mr. Rogers from the motherfucking TV ain't from my hood. He from that motherfucking hood. This Mr. Rogers, he from my motherfucking hood. So anything this Mr. Rogers telling me, I'ma fucking pay attention. Because this Mr. Rogers had a motherfucking kid who passed away, rest in peace, over some drug overdose. So this Mr. Rogers has been exposed to real life Purple Hearts.
my fake train and, you know, trying to talk about shit I don't know anything about. So let's watch the press conference.
And guys,
stop this is what I want you guys to
self-snitching.
take note of. They're mining social media to get you indicted.
Proven otherwise. Let me talk a little bit about Mr. Henley and
Stop.
the gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely
Self-snitching.
known leader within the Rollin 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts. All things that law enforcement has looked at closely as part of this investigation.
Oh, gee. What did I tell you? He's on podcasts. He's, you know, I like the fame. You know, what did the mob fucking hate more than anything else? Notoriety.
Fame.
Attention. They wanted everything quiet. Why do you think
That's why they didn't like Gotti, because Gotti used to be all over the place doing press conferences and shit. The mob don't like that shit, man. Let him tell you, because he a white boy. He know more than I do.
John Gotti, you know,
No, there you go.
wound up where he was? Remember he was the Dapper Don?
See?
It's no different than these guys. And why is that? They wanted it quiet because they didn't want to fucking make noise, because the empty barrel is the loudest one.
He has maintained the image of an
The empty barrel is the loudest one. If that ain't some mafia shit to tell you before they smoke you over a plate of spaghettis, let me tell you, that is the coolest shit I ever heard, not in a movie.
entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label, and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high crime areas. The fact
Well, don't think for 1 minute that won't be part of the defense strategy.
Believe that.
facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him.
Extorting his own people.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement. Henley's criminal enterprise also engaged in other crimes,
nigga's a
including
real-life
transporting
killer.
prostitutes across state lines extorting strip clubs, marijuana dispensaries, and other businesses, and fraudulently applying for COVID loans.
So this sounds just like
he a mobster.
crime.
Yeah, he a mobster.
That's how they're being treated.
In the form of a business relief loan.
That's a
On
mob.
the application, Mr. Henley falsely stated that his music label, Unique Music, operated at a $200,000 profit in 2019 and was entitled to government assistance.
What? He said they operated under $200,000 profit? What the hell were they selling?
Despite the reality that the company had operated at a loss and was ineligible for such relief.
You see?
Finally, Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling.
Some of those document crimes are so easy to prove for the government, but the bigger picture is that they are part of an organization, and that is how the Rico part of it plays into it. And so it's an overt act in furtherance of a conspiracy.
Donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity, Developing Options, which, as I said, purports to give South LA at-risk youth alternatives to gang violence, drugs, and other criminal activity.
Insane.
So if you have a charity, like Donald Trump did, and other people, you can't just take that, money and use it for your own purposes. And
I didn't even know you could do that.
Show that.
But that was only in the movies.
187, whatever the fuck that is. Remember that?
1877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids.
I mean, I think that is just a total scam. I could be wrong. And that's
Yo!
I don't have anything to back it up.
He's hilarious, guys. What the fuck?
They've got ads
That was too much.
nationally, And you hear the ad all the
That
time.
was too much. I
Who
was
believes
not ready for
that's
that.
just for kids. Nobody does.
Nobody.
Stealing from their own charity to do whatever, and then doing other things that are supposedly for and all of a sudden you're looking at your credibility when you get on the stand. It doesn't fly.
Henley used this charity as a front. He used it to conceal his fraudulent activities, his criminal enterprises activities from and
Yo,
evade
this is
detection
so
from law enforcement.
fucking
If
crazy.
convicted on the racketeering conspiracy, he and his co-conspirators face approximately a 20-year federal prison sentence. I want to thank our federal law enforcement partners, our state law enforcement partners who brought about the result here
Wow.
today. The Los Angeles Metropolitan Gang Task Force from the FBI. It's comprised of FBI agents, LAPD officers,
Wow.
IRS criminal investigation.
Wow. They got everybody working today.
Office, Los Angeles Police Department.
Yo.
Las Vegas Police Department. This case is a great example of
Oh
state and federal law
my
enforcement working
God.
together to address harm from a criminal enterprise. I also want to thank our
You hear all the organizations involved in this case?
That was
You
a
get lawyer
big
involved.
ass
First of
list.
all, I guarantee these guys don't have a lot of money. I mean, some might have a little bit of money, but certainly not anywhere near the resources that the federal government has. That's for damn sure.
Oh my God.
And
I
not only
cannot
that,
believe that.
you don't have the resources that all these different agencies have specializations within their own departments.
That's
like
crazy.
The IRS, like the Postal Service, like the Gang Strike Force, like the U.S. Attorney's Office and the District Attorney's Office. So if you look at Operation Drawdown, you've got 19 there. We're going to black out their names because I just don't think it's fair to plaster that shit all over the place when you haven't been convicted of anything yet.
Yeah.
But look at the people.
a lot
out
of
there. You
people
got the
there.
IRS, you got the LAPD, you got the U.S. Attorney's Office, you've got Department of Justice.
Oh my God.
You've got all these different logos. Now, I'm going to read you from the indictment.
Everybody's trying to get a piece of the
FBI,
pie. They're like, yo,
Los Angeles
those guys,
Metropolitan
bring them
Task
in.
Force on Violent gangs.
Hold up. What
When
he say?
FBI, Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs, launched an investigation into Henley's criminal enterprise.
Oh my God.
The Big U Enterprise, and its association with the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips street gang, the Rolling 60s, which the Los Angeles Metro Task Force Against Gangs, Violent Gangs, began investigating in August of 2020. The Big U Enterprise is a mafia-like organization that utilizes Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Rolling 60s and other street
comfortable?
gangs to intimidate businesses
Well, there.
and individuals in Los Angeles. The Big U Enterprise is led by Henley. You just
My
heard
bad.
about Henley.
I'm a
Henley
little
is a
puppy.
self-admitted member and original gangster, or
Self-admitted.
OG, of the Rolling 60s, a violent
Damn.
criminal street gang
Ain't that some
with
shit?
associated sets in several other states. Henley is widely regarded as a leader within the Rolling 60s. Now, Eugene Henley, known as Big U, aka
Big U.
Unk, aka
Unk.
Draws,
Oh,
aka
God.
Hannibal, aka Hannibal Muhammad,
Hey,
aka
yo.
Anybody Killer,
Too many.
aka Dave
Too
Austin,
many.
aka anyway, there's so many aliases, right? That's, I mean, when they start reading that shit in open court, it doesn't look good for you. AKA
Not at all.
Bear Claw.
Bear
For a
claw.
violation of 18
Arr,
Code Section
Bear Claw.
1962D, racketeering, influence, and corrupt organizations, conspiracies. And what they're doing now is they're treating them like organized crime. It makes it easier to prove and to get them off the street. And I guarantee you, some of these guys are probably already in prison. How do they do it? Well,
He's stupid.
how do you-
He says some of these guys are already in prison.
snitching.
And they're trying to give them more time.
So the sources to build the case include confidential human sources,
Oh, God.
surreptitious recordings,
Oh,
in
God.
other words, wiretapping, including Title III wiretaps, search warrants for social
Wiretaps.
media, iCloud and Google accounts, financial records from both individuals and companies or organizations,
iCloud.
toll records showing communications between conspirators, victims, and Big U Enterprise members and associates.
They really going
Cell
after
site
them.
location information from numerous phones, including Henley's, these guys, City of Los Angeles records, public filings, and other publicly available information, and interviews of witnesses and victims.
Wow.
The investigation employed various additional investigative techniques, including surveillance, vehicle tracking, poll cameras, recording devices, interaction with confidential sources, and information
Snitches.
gleaned through undercover
Said confidential
purchases of firearms
sources.
and narcotics. So they're
I'm
gonna
sure they're
have
confidential.
Video and audio
Uh-huh.
of transactions. You know, oh, here's some guns. Guess what happens with a gun? It's a 5-year mandatory minimum on top of what
5-year mandatory minimum.
924C. And the issue with this is you've
What's
got-
the
This
issue?
is going to be a document intensive case and a
Gosh.
discovery intensive case. It's not going to just be. These statements line up with Adam 22's response to similar accusations.
Oh, God.
claiming
Adam
that
22 is getting dragged
man
into this.
is competent. We're talking about,
I got some shit with Adam
probably a
22.
5-year
Let's check out this shit I got with Adam 22 right now, man. This is BJ Investigates, aka That Surprise Witness, man. And this is one of the most professional YouTubers I know. This is my favorite one right here. Know what I mean? I've been watching a
I
few.
have been very busy, but there's some fake news going around, and I need to address it.
Let's
No
address
Jumper,
it.
Specifically, the No Jumper podcast has
Mm-hmm.
been named in a federal indictment.
No Jumper.
And that doesn't mean named as a defendant. That just means named inside the indictment, inside the affidavit.
Ay,
Now, there's some fake news going
ay.
around about the fact that, the only time No Jumper was mentioned in the whole federal indictment was just because
Ay,
Luce
ay, ay.
Cannon beat somebody up outside the studio.
Bullshit. False.
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 Lay
Say
off
it
whatever
loud.
It is over there, girl, because that is not true. That is not true. So I want to correct the record and show y'all all the times
Tell
that
them.
No Jumper podcast is actually mentioned in this.
Mhm.
It ain't just because Luce Cannon beat somebody up
Not
in
at all.
January outside the studio. No, it's not. Okay, so here's the indictment.
Tell 'em,
Or
BJ.
excuse me, criminal complaint. This is not the
Criminal
indictment.
complaint.
This
It's
is
not the
criminal
indictment.
complaint. Now,
Mm-hmm.
as it says in the little scrolly bar down below, this all has to do with a takedown of a supposed criminal enterprise or a criminal gang. There's two separate so-called enterprises. One of them is the Rollin 60s, a Crips affiliated street gang, but there's also another enterprise that is being alleged, and that is specifically Big U, one of the leaders and the OGs of the Rollin 60s. He has his own little side
The
project
leader.
going on outside and separate and apart from the Rollin 60s. That's what's being alleged. So all this is going on in the neighborhoods right around Adam 16, Grand Mason 22. Okay, so he, of course, as everyone knows, does hire active members of these organizations, and he hires them as co-hosts on his shows. I mean,
Yep,
dare I
Adam
say, it
22
appears
does
they're
do
his
that.
friends, even.
Like they're
Which
friends.
is fine. I understand
How long
that
they
if
been
you grow
doing
up in a
that?
certain environment, then there's certain things you just have to do and certain things you have to do to protect yourself. But Adam Grant Mason is the son of somebody who is friends with Bill Clinton. Okay, this is not
Listen to
somebody
this.
that was born right there.
Listen to this. This is very important. See, Adam Graham Mason is not just some white boy from the Ville or LES that just decided to cover hip hop. This guy right here is really tied into. See, Graham Mason is a last name that you don't just get out of nowhere, let me tell you.
In the 60s blocks of LA. This is not somebody that was born there at all. He's from New Hampshire. Okay, y'all need to remember this man is not in and of the people in the way that he tries to act. All right? He's just not. His dad was pardoned by Bill Clinton for fraud or something. It's just insane.
That's crazy.
Okay, so AD is running PR, in my opinion, for Adam Grant Mason 1622. And he's saying, only time no jumper is mentioned at all is because somebody got beat up outside the studio. Adam Grant had nothing to do with that. That's not true. That's not true. A lot of things that have been said on podcasts, interviews, docuseries, YouTube videos are being used as the basis for the federal indictment
for the entire
against
shit.
the Rollin 60s, against Big U,
Tell 'em.
against BRICC Baby,
Tell 'em.
and now against Luce Cannon.
Absolutely.
And I say it like y'all need to be careful what you say on podcasts, but I kind of don't really mean it, because it's like if you so stupid as to incriminate yourself and your criminal activities by saying it on the likes of No Freaking Jumper Adam 16 Graham Mason's podcast, I mean, you did it to yourself. What I would say,
you deserve
is stop doing all this
it.
debauchery.
You
and
deserve
tomfoolery. Y'all need
it.
to stop.
Why
It's
are you telling on
2025.
yourself?
Y'all have kids, y'all have grandmas, y'all have mamas, y'all have reputations. People have a way to make money now.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to be doing all of this stuff.
You don't
And
gotta
hopefully,
be
if there's any
incriminating
veracity
yourself.
to any of this, it does start to be a little bit easier for people to just not have to participate in all this stuff. But as far as No Jumper being mentioned, girl, I mean, it ain't just because somebody fought outside of the studio. So let me show you what I mean.
Please do.
So Luce Cannon,
Luce Cannon
birth
himself.
certificate name is Termaine Ashley William.
Termaine Ashley William is Luce Cannon's real name, as mentioned in this here said indictment.
Okay, Termaine Williams. So when you see Williams in this indictment, it means Luce Cannon. Now, who is Luce Cannon? This is this man right here. I mean, literally the day before all these arrests were made.
Yes.
The day before all these arrests were made.
Yes.
It was just a special episode of No Jumper.
Oh.
And in the special episode, you have these.
That was cold. She said Fed Jumper. Oh, I mean, No Jumper. Yo, she beat my man. She gets them in from the fucking half court. BJ throws them from the half court and they hit. Trust me, they hit. Because she doesn't pull up unless she got the paperwork.
Two alleged rivals. They come in on the show together, these rivals. Somebody had a you-know-what in their waistband.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
Okay. The very
A
next day
pew
after
pew.
this appearance, and this was live
No
stream.
way.
The very next day after this live stream,
I
both
like
of
how
those two people that are
I like how she calls it a pew pew, and she still gets her point across. She is so gangster with it.
rivals were arrested. What is that timing? That is what I want to know. Because BRICC Baby, the one with the dreads, not Luce Cannon, the other one, BRICC Baby,
Yes.
he has had an arrest warrant out for him since February, last month, February 26th, 27th. He got arrested on like March 18th or
So
19th.
how is it that they can't
So,
catch up
for
with a
whole
dude that's
month, there's
here?
this arrest warrant. And then very, very next day after he appears on No Jumper,
Mm-hmm.
Adam 16 Grand Mason 22 of Nashua,
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden next day he's arrested, and so is Luce Cannon. Okay, so I just think that's interesting timing.
That's
I think
very
timing. I
interesting.
think it's very interesting that a couple
That's so coincidental that they've been looking for him the whole entire time, and they can't catch him until he gets on No Jumper. Huh. What are you doing, Adam?
days after these arrests, VLAD TV, which I like to call Fed TV, and
Fed
Afro
TV.
Mason 16,
She's on the road today.
1622 No Jumper, both come together and they did a podcast just yesterday, Friday, March 21st, it came out. Just yesterday. These two guys. And why is it that Vlad TV, DJ Academics, and No Jumper keep being used?
Want to know how I protected my team's...
I want to know how is it that they seem to be the guys that interview people the day before they get arrested. How are they doing it? I just want to know.
They say or things said on their podcasts keep being used as the basis for federal indictments. I mean, it's kind of obvious to me what's going on here. And the reason that it sounds like I have such disdain for it is because I believe, this is my personal opinion, I do not know, I was not there.
Let's read that real loud. That's my belief and opinion based on public things I've seen. I do not know these people nor want to. I just want to make sure you guys got that.
But I believe everybody down there hanging out around that area, including Adam 16, Grand Mason 22, including his wife, who knows if she's even at will to do what she's doing, including Mark Late.
Oh, yeah. I heard about his wife.
Including Vlad TV. All these people, in my opinion, are just as in it as everybody else.
Yep.
But in my opinion, these people are never going to get in trouble.
Yeah,
and
how?
I'm not going to say the rest of them.
They're going to hide behind their journalism.
It's fish in a barrel, crabs in a barrel, whatever y'all want to call it. And I
crabs in
believe
a
that
barrel.
it's like low-hanging, low members of these organizations that are getting put out here looking like clowns, putting their beef on display, putting their everything else on display, and it's going to be them sitting in the federal and definitely not Vlad TV and definitely not Adam 16, Grand Mason 22. And even people are out here running false PR where we can go and look and see that it's not true. It's not true that the only mention of No Jumper is somebody was outside his studio. It is not true.
That's a lie.
Let me show you what I mean. Okay,
yes,
so Williams
please.
equals Luce Cannon, this guy. So
yes,
it says here
please.
on page 18 that Williams, that's Luce Cannon, worked alongside Big U and the rest of the enterprise to do the following: arrange robberies for the purpose of enriching the enterprise, to further the extortions committed by the enterprise, and to create the impression that the enterprise, quote, controlled Los Angeles. Now, the specific charges which are being brought against Luce Cannon have to do with interference with commerce by robbery. So it's a robbery charge, but the reason why it gets kicked up to federal instead of just a state charge is because it interfered with commerce, and the feds have legally have jurisdiction over commerce, interstate commerce.
Interesting.
So it's a robbery charge, what he's being charged with. And specifically, they give some details about this alleged robbery. It was July.
One such robbery occurred on July 5th, 2021 at an unlicensed marijuana dispensary in Los Angeles where victim 1 worked. Leading up to the robbery, the Big U enterprise had been extorting victim 1 for years, and victim 1 had been paying the Big U enterprise up to $25,000 per month. When victim 1 was at the top of his earning capacity shortly before the robbery, however, victim 1 had ceased paying extortion to the Big U enterprise, as victim 1 did not believe it was necessary or that he was receiving any benefit from the payments. On the day of the robbery, approximately 11 of the Big U enterprise members and associates, including Robinson and Williams, both of whom victim 1 knew well as Rollin Crips 60s members, rushed into the dispensary armed with firearms and without mask. They demanded belongings of anyone inside and stole cash and marijuana from the store before fleeing. At one point, they demanded a Rolex watch from one of the co-owners. These guys are wild. I could only imagine a group of people rushing a dispensary and everybody's armed to the T. That's gotta be a scary sight. That's got to be a scary sight.
2021, the day after 4th of July, at an unlicensed dispensary in LA where this victim 1 works.
She says
now,
it much
we don't know who
nicer.
Victim 1 is. I did discuss it a little bit on my live last night. Y'all can go check that out from Saturday, March 21st. Leading up to the robbery, the Big U Enterprise had been extorting Victim 1 for years.
Oh, God.
This victim had been paying the Big U Enterprise up to $25,000 a month.
Watch.
When Victim 1 was at the top of his earning capacity. So he's running like an unlicensed, aka illegal dispensary. So he's kind of dealing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Shortly
He's
before
got
the
to be.
robbery, this Victim 1 had
He got them pounds for cheap.
stopped paying the fee to the Big U Enterprise, and Victim 1 did not believe it was necessary for him to actually have to pay it. He said he wasn't receiving any benefit.
Of course, he wasn't receiving any benefit because they weren't robbing him at the moment.
From the payments. On the day of the robbery, approximately 11 of the Enterprise's members and associates, including Luce Cannon, both of who...
Oh, shit. I didn't even notice Luce Cannon was in there. Oh, that's who Victim 1 is. Luce. Oh, no. Williams is probably Luce Cannon. That's why.
Knew Victim 1 well. Okay, so Luce Cannon knows this victim
Williams,
well, is what they're saying, as well as some other Rollin 60s members, and they rushed into the dispensary,
Oh, my
armed
God.
with pew-pew and with no masks. They demanded belongings from anyone inside. So not
That's
just the people who owned the
insane.
place, not just the workers, but anyone in there. And they stole
Scary,
cash and other things
scary.
before they fled. At one point, they demanded a Rolex watch from one of the co-owners of the
Brave.
unlicensed dispensary, but then they ended up letting him keep it. Now, according to this victim, he's working at the dispensary, they put him on the phone with Big U. Who
What?
invited this Victim 1 to Big U's home. Victim 1 arrived at Big U's home, and Big U said, "That's how you rob yourself." And then he demanded...
What? He robbed the dude, and then he told somebody at the robbery while they were robbing him, put him on the phone, put him on the phone. He said, oh, hold on. Let me imagine this. Hold on. Let me imagine this, right? I wasn't there. There is no, I haven't seen any footage about it, but I wasn't there. But I'm imagining that they robbing the place, and one of the top guys, that the guy, you know, there's usually little entry-level people. There's the guys collecting the money. There's the guys pointing the guns at people. There's crowd control. I'm imagining, I saw Pulp Fiction. You ever seen Pulp Fiction? Pulp Fiction is like that, you know, when they're robbing the diner. So I'm imagining just Pulp Fiction with 11 people, right? And one of them pulls out a phone and puts Big U on the phone on the to the guy who probably has the Rolex, right? Because I'm assuming it had to be the guy with the Rolex, because they said he could keep it. Who else would say, "Yo, we're robbing everything, just don't rob the Rolex"? You know, I'm sure if the vultures are eating, there's no way you could stop unless the big vulture says, "Don't touch that." You feel me? So let's make believe. He passes the phone. The guy say, "Yo," and he's like, "It's Big U. This is my address. Pull up on me." And then the guy jumps in the Uber, knowing he just got robbed. Now, I mean, I'm sure he's moving independently from the robbers. So the robbers are like driving over there on their own. They're like, woo, driving in the dope-ass cars. They probably got some Phantoms and some shit, you know, because they crooks. These niggas probably got the Ferraris and the Lamborghini. So they Phantom down, you know, this Galaxy inside. They passing blunts. They probably smoke top shelf shit, you know. These guys are the dudes. But at the same time, the guy who just got robbed is in the cab. Take it from there.
Did $10,000 from Victim 1 to ensure no other robberies occurred.
Wait, say it again.
Arrived at Big U's home.
Wait, say that part
to
again.
Big U's home. Victim 1 arrived at Big U's home, and Big U said, "That's how you rob yourself." And then he demanded $10,000 from Victim 1 to ensure no other robberies occurred. Wow. But they're saying the robberies are happening from Big U's enterprise, from Rollin 60s that he hired. And so he's extorting. That's how you rob yourself. He demanded $10,000. And then Big U also directed this victim to identify other businesses or other dispensaries that could be similarly robbed.
Wow.
And he assured Victim
He
1
made
that
him
the
a
enterprise
worker.
would compensate him
You're hired.
for identifying any robberies. So Big U is basically saying, all right, you know how I don't know why they're calling it an unlicensed. dispensary. I mean, it's a D dealer, right?
Yeah, a drug dealer. They said he could. She said, what are they calling it? An unlicensed dispensary. It isn't an unlicensed. That's an open air drug market. Let me tell you. And the fact that this guy just grabs the guy, robs the guy, charges the guy 10 bands, and then hires the guy to go scout out some other places is fucking remarkable.
Right? I mean, like that's what
Wow,
an unlicensed
this is
dispensary means. That somebody just dealing, right?
He was a terror. He is
First,
a
I want to
terror.
talk to you about AIDS.
He is a terror, my friends. This guy, listen, I only had heard about one other person on earth, which was Suge Knight. I don't know if you guys are from my era, but I'm from the era of hip hop where two rappers had two coasts ready to smoke each other. And Suge Knight was the boogie monster you did not want to face to face. But Big U here? Big U? Debo? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Big U is basically saying, all right, you know how I don't know why they're calling it an unlicensed dispensary. I mean, it's a D dealer, right? I mean, like that's what it is. An unlicensed dispensary means that somebody just dealing, right?
Yes, they are.
They go to, as stated below, Victim 1's account is corroborated in a consensually recorded conversation in which Big U and his right-hand man ask for robbery targets from Victim 1. Now, again, I don't know who Victim 1 is. I don't know who it is. But he or she, he has his own charges. Victim 1 has his own charges.
Wow.
And convictions. And they said it in a footnote. Again, go watch my live if you want to know more about that. But we're being told that this Victim 1, he stops paying his extortion fee to the enterprise. He gets robbed by the enterprise as the retaliation. Like, oh no, you're going to pay. Then he gets driven over to Big U's house. Big U is like, now give me $10,000.
He gets driven. He didn't take the Uber. He was forced in the car. Bring your bitch ass on, motherfucker. Big, you want to talk to you.
And also tell me about other people that are doing what you're doing so we can go rob them too. And if we rob them, then we'll give you a little cut.
Oh, wow. He's hired.
Otherwise, you're going to be getting robbed again.
Oh, you're going to get robbed.
The footnote 18 is saying...
So you work for us or you are a victim for life? Wow. That's a tough decision. That's a tough decision. After that, you're a criminal. He forced you into a life of crime. This man is signing people up like he drafted them for the army.
That has been corroborated by wiretap calls. Big U then provided a portion of the robbery proceeds back to Victim 1.
Jesus Christ.
This MO, aka modus operandi, is corroborated by...
MO, modus operandi. That's what that... Oh, man, I've been hearing MO for a long time. And it's funny that I've been saying the modus operandi too, but I didn't know it was the same thing. Yo, don't fucking laugh at me, chat. Some shit go over my head. I ain't gonna lie.
Wire interceptions in which
Big
U discusses robbing dealers
don't be catching all of them.
Only half of their product or proceeds. Okay, so they're just using some corroborating things right here. Now look at this. Luce Cannon later admitted to this robbery and the aftermath on a podcast. On the No Jumper podcast, after stating that Williams, Luce Cannon,
this is in the indictment.
Big U's right-hand man.
Oh, God.
Luce Cannon explained, quote, so basically, he'll manipulate things. So this sounds a little bit more than just getting in a fight outside the No Jumper studio, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Is the answer to that question. It was a rhetorical question.
Mm-hmm.
Luce Cannon is being federally complained against by name because of things he said, quote, admitted on the No Jumper podcast.
Yeah, there you go, chat. There you go, chat. You wanted to know why they got rounded up? Because of things that Williams said about Henley on the No Jumper podcast. That's it. It's official. The indictment was launched because of this right here. Look at it right there. It says Williams later admitted to this robbery and the aftermath on a podcast. On the No Jumper podcast. This is on the indictment itself, chat.
No Jumper podcast, after stating that Luce Cannon was apparently Big U's right-hand man, Luce Cannon explained, quote, so basically, Big U will manipulate things.
Wow.
We'll go and do something, Luce Cannon says, and then the same people we do it to show up to the house like 10 minutes later as we're trying
That's
to count
funny.
everything, like the money or the proceeds, the loot. And we'd
Yeah,
be like,
the
how the
booty.
F? Luce Cannon goes on the No Jumper podcast and says Henley, Big U, would then state, quote, well, we're just going to give like 40,000 back.
Really?
So then we got Whack 100 around. He's always in the mix.
Yeah,
He's always in the
Whack always
mix.
got something to say.
Whack 100, who is a rival / counterpart of Big U, he's for the other side. He was also on the podcast, and he stated, quote, you know why he wanted to give the dude back the 40K, right? Because he was going to make the dude give him 20 for getting it back. So just kind of like describing the scheme.
Wow. Whack 100 is being quoted on the indictment. Wow. Page 52 of the indictment.
Luce Cannon then agreed, quote, of course. He did that to, and then 2 famous rappers. Now, some of y'all have been following this a lot more closely than me.
He
Who
did
are the
that
2
to
famous
2
rappers
famous
who he did
rappers.
this to?
PNB
Luce
Rock.
Cannon's
Oh,
like,
no.
yeah, he did
Rick Ross and Meek Mill.
that. And he's talking publicly on the No Jumper podcast about this. Luce Cannon then detailed demanding $50,000 from a celebrity rapper, RR. Who is RR? I do not know.
Rick Ross.
Or they would unalive another rapper. So
Meek Mill's.
on the No Jumper podcast, allegedly, according to these
I
federal papers
remember
that were
he
filed in
said
federal
that.
court, Luce Cannon said on the No Jumper podcast, oh yeah, that
You
time we
see?
asked for $50,000 from this rapper whose initials are RR. We did that, and then if he didn't give it to us, then we was gonna unalive another celebrity rapper, MM. Luce Cannon then said that the RR rapper dropped off the 50K and Big U stopped answering the phone and then did not share any of the money with Luce Cannon. So maybe Luce Cannon might end up turning out to be the CI.
Ooh.
He's been pointing his finger at somebody else being a CI, but it looks like he has motivation to turn on Big U too if he's thinking he got ripped off out of his share of this 50K. According to further No Jumper and Vlad TV segments. So other times that these people were on No Jumper and Vlad TV. So a second time No Jumper is being used. I don't know how it's not so obvious to some of y'all. Really, I just don't.
It's very
According
obvious.
to- but I mean, I
It's
don't know.
fucking
I don't know.
obvious
I
as
could be
hell.
schizophrenic.
It's
I
a
could be.
they
Don't
report.
Don't let them get a hold of me with the aura because who knows what kind
Listen, and No Jumper. Where's it at? Where's it at? Look at your man. Look at your man.
Before I had involvement, conversation with federal agents, and when they showed up, I was wearing a red Nike Tech. Not exactly the definition of fresh. I got a crazy update. 22ster has got a big update. Tap inwardly.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine Wednesday? I'm doing quite well.
fuck does
well,
that
it
mean?
looks like Adam 1622 Grand Mason, the 16th of Nashua, has been contacted by the feds.
Oh
or
my
at least
God.
He's now finally admitting it.
Finally
publicly.
admitting it. Let's go.
So thank you to Fairy Bongmother who did share this tip with me because y'all know I am not checking for Adam22 on his Instagram stories, but she did alert me to this and she sent me this video. So I'm just going to let Adam speak
Let's
for
see this.
himself. This was posted
Please.
yesterday, Tuesday, March
Jesus
25th,
Christ.
2024 on Instagram on stories. And he does tease that he's going to be discussing this topic today, Wednesday, March 26th on No Jumper podcast. So here's the video. Here's the story.
The best place for creators.
Much for being fresh. If the Fed's watching, I made it 41 years into this life before I had involvement, conversation with federal agents. And when they showed up, I was wearing a red Nike Tech.
So I guess he's still trying
What?
to deny that he has any previous involvement with the feds. He's
What?
like, I made it 41 years before I had any involvement with the feds.
Really?
Kind of weird.
That's
to
a
say.
weird thing to say.
Why does he keep drawing attention to the fact he's wearing a red Nike tag? Like, is this sponsored by Nike? Is this supposed to be some type of code?
It could be cold. He's probably trying to let the feds know today's the perfect day to run up on me because, you know, I'm ready. And because he's working for them. And that's the day they told him, yo, listen, wear a red Nike Tech hoodie when you need us to come over. So we know that that post is relevant to our, indictment. Crazy.
Is the man, does he have a frontal lobe issue? Does he need a brain scan? Does he need a conservatorship or jail? I'm just wondering why it's so important to talk about this red Nike tech. Maybe somebody could tell me in the comments. I really don't know.
Oh my
Tech,
God.
not exactly the definition of fresh, but
Guys,
I got
happy
a crazy
Friday.
update.
Remember, happy Friday. Happy Friday
I'm
to
gonna
everybody.
do the Good Diligent podcaster thing, and I'm gonna save it for tomorrow at 4 p.m. with Lush and some surprise guests. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. 22ster has got a big update. Tap inwardly.
Oh, and then he makes a little
What the fuck is this?
joke at the expense of, I don't know, like the people that he has made his living off of who are now arrested and he's not. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll take the time to go and find some clips of Adam Grant Mason 1622. The last few days has been saying
I am so
some
shocked.
conflicting things
The fuck
about
is
his
going on?
cooperation with the feds. Like on the one hand, he'll be saying he doesn't work with the feds. On the other hand, he'll be saying
He
he'll
looks
be
like he
happy
works
to open up all his
with the
books
fucking
and
feds.
records that he has of any of the archive footage, video footage. I mean, he's out here just basically saying, yes, I will cooperate. I absolutely will cooperate happily, willingly. He also seemingly has attempted to distance himself from the whole ordeal, but in particular from the people that he has like personal connections to and with, like as like seemingly as friends, including BRICC Baby, who's a co-host on his show.
Yeah, what's up?
And Luce Cannon, who
Oops.
also appears on the show very often. I mean, I don't know his like exact involvement or whatever. I mean, if he's a co-host, if he's a guest, what if he's an employee, I mean, I really don't know. But this Luce Cannon guy is the one whose words and actions around and on the No Jumper podcast and the vicinity of the building and all of that are being used as a foundation upon which a lot of this Rico indictment is based. And what's very
Luce Cannon. I think Luce Cannon had a big fallout with you, and he knew you was gonna do him like he did PNB Rock and how he did Nipsey Hussle, and he took it upon himself to make sure that he wasn't gonna be the next one, and he did it to that other kid that died when he was 21, that they found his body in this thing in Las Vegas. Where's that one at? I know that I have that story too. I have that story somewhere around here. But we're gonna get to that story real quick. We're gonna get to that story next. Let's go back to this one right here. Let's finish with watching this one.
very alarming to me.
I'm telling you guys, we
is
have
as of
a
at least,
lot
like, a
of
day,
stuff
2-3 days
today.
ago, whatever. Like
I hope you guys are ready to be live. This is what we're doing. Don't forget to drop a 333 in the chat, guys. If you live, 333 in the chat.
in the first week of this indictment coming down and these arrests happening, Luce Cannon did call in from the jail in Nevada to talk on the No Jumper podcast, and it doesn't seem like that man has a single idea what that indictment says, which is alarming to me. And I would say he don't need to
Well, I
go
hope
back
he
on
knows
a
now.
show, and he don't need to be talking about this, especially
Mhm.
until he finds out what it even says in that indictment.
Facts.
It's like maybe he read it, maybe he didn't. I mean, I have no way to know. But
Facts.
the way that he was speaking about it on the No Jumper podcast when he called in from jail, from detention, is that he did not know that his words that he spoke on Adam 16 Grand Mason 22's podcast were actually being used against him to wrap him all up in this big U indictment.
That's
now
a
a lot
fact.
of y'all, including me, didn't
Mhm.
have any idea who any of these people really were outside of maybe like Adam 16 Grand Mason.
I
or
didn't
whatever
even know
until
who they
pretty
were until this
recently.
happened, to be honest with you.
And you'll be happy to know I have made or started a little web.
Yeah, I've been
So
trying to
we
do the
have
same
some
thing
of
with
the
the
little players of the whole controversy
with the
here.
free
Here's
form. Oh
Adam
my
16,
gosh,
VLAD
she's
TV.
so good
We
at
got
that.
BRICC Baby. He was
I
actually
gotta get on my
arrested,
game.
but on his own charges. He is detained and his
Damn.
bail was denied. I do have some
sad.
updates on the BRICC Baby, Luce Cannon, and Monty situation coming soon. But yeah, I have started a
Wow.
web, and you'll be pleased to know about that because it is a little bit difficult to keep up with all these people, especially because these ones got 6 names each.
Jesus.
Why?
That is just a crazy thing to happen. Like we just got over the Young Thug thing, and now all of a sudden we dealing with this other news.
BRICC Baby, Big SHITTY. I mean, all these names, but So I did want to let y'all know that maybe previously Adam 1622 Grand Mason was talking about how he doesn't have any involvement with the feds, but he was like openly, willingly, publicly advertising that he was more than happy to give them everything he has. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually glad for that. I do know that in the particular context of this, people want to say, you know, he's a snitch or whatever. But listen, at the end of the day, if Adam Gray Mason 1622 really truly did not do anything,
Mm-hmm.
and these other guys really truly did, and they are up to some of the stuff that's been alleged in these complaints, it does need to be handed over to the authorities, because what's being alleged here is that it's a violent criminal gang extorting very powerful people all the way down to very vulnerable people. These are indisputably criminal behaviors. They are indisputably crimes if they happened how it's being portrayed. And so I definitely want to keep walking that fine line, you know, walking the razor, where I
Yeah,
don't want
that's
to
a
fall
fact.
over to one side or the other just yet. We do not have enough evidence to know who's guilty, who's not guilty in their latest case. These
That's a
two done
fact.
locked up more rappers than the DA. It's the Feds podcast. Two feds, one podcast, make it less obvious. Just two officers of the law during a debrief.
This is the comment box. She was reading the comments on their shit.
Body, how are you doing this fine Monday? I'm doing quite
Yo,
well.
shouts
Okay,
to
so
that
if
surprise
somehow you missed
witness.
it, there were some very popular Adam 1622 Grand Mason No Jumper co-hosts / guests from that show who absolutely were arrested on federal Rico charges just last week. I mean, it really, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how you possibly couldn't have known,
Yeah,
but that
it's
did
crazy.
happen. Okay, so if you watched any of my recent coverage on this issue, then you would have heard my opinion that Adam 1622 Grand Mason is never going to get in trouble for any of this stuff. No, he is not Fed Jumper.
Fat
Okay,
jumper.
so I mean, look, listen, I have no way to know if somebody's a Fed or not, but like there's just like little clues that I don't know, I just look for. Like, for example, is this person in the world, not of the world, not really of this community at all whatsoever, and like way too deeply invested? All of that checks off as yes. But more importantly, when people do start getting in trouble, how's this person acting? Does this person act like they're gonna ever face any consequence for this? No. Even though he's all up in it, even though he's all up next to it. No,
Good.
none of this stuff is just
Interesting.
positive. Okay, this is just my schizophrenic delusion. Okay, so don't take anything that I say as a fact. But how and why would Adam 16 Grand Mason 22 become so invested in all of this like Crips world life stuff? I mean, just why? How and why? And the
Great
older
question.
he gets, the more he's still interested in it. I mean, that's just weird to me. Like, for me, it's like fine when you're like young, you're in your 20s, maybe even in your 30s, you're kind of interested in this, you're kind of trying to like ask people questions about it, whatever. But like, you know, I mean, the older that they're getting,
Oh my God. She's on
the
point for
kind
that.
of
No
more
cap,
obvious
she's
it
on point for
becomes.
that. I cannot hold on that one.
Okay, but anyway, there's another guy on YouTube who does a similar thing. Now, this is like a very huge YouTuber, the one I just showed y'all, DJ Vladimir. And DJ Vladimir is another one. I mean, he's like well into his 40s or 50s or something. The man has a full head of gray hair plugs, and he is still concerned
He
about what
said
the likes of
gray
BRICC Baby
hair
and Luce Cannon are doing on the 60s block of wherever they live or whatever. You know, like,
Yeah, no,
I
that's
can
true.
make these videos, but I'm a trained lawyer. I'm reading law, documents, federal.
See, guys, trained lawyer. Professional advice, guys. Because we can't trust everybody with the information. Everybody don't. Listen, some opinions are not worth listening to.
Cases. I'm not like hanging out with the Rollin 60s, the Rollin 40s, and Big Whack 100 and all the rest of them acting like that's my friends, because I'm not trying to become part of that world over there. Okay, so no, thank you. I'm gonna be in the Rollin suburbs. Okay, we're gonna be rolling to the Whole Foods later. Okay, that's
Makes sense.
Why is building a business so stressful?
You got away with that one, commercial. You got away
But
with
I
that
do think
one.
that has a lot to do with the way that I grew up. Like, I grew up at a pretty rural high school, had a lot of racial diversity. Actually, didn't have that much diversity at all. It was like 10% white people, and I was one of them. I was one of them. And it wasn't like a bunch of this gang violence. Now, after Katrina, you know, some people moved in from the wards and things. Now, it was a little bit, but like, I grew up around people and with people who even today, still those people, they're not trying to act like this either. So I think it has to do with how you grow up. Like Adam, 22, Grand Mason, 16, grew up very privileged. So, you know, maybe you could write off for that. Maybe you can write off for that reason. But I think for me, the biggest clue, the biggest hint is this video right here. These two right here, DJ Vladimir and No Jumper, Adam 16, Grand Mason 22, after all the arrests have been made, girl. I mean, the arrests have been made. People are sitting in the jail.
Grand Mason
People hadn't even filed their
22.
appearances on this Rico case as far as the law is concerned. And these two uncles, we'll call them pawpaws, they sitting around with their individualized strain of THC each or whatever. It just...
She's laughing at the oldies. Those old heads, yo. It's true. Why the fuck are these old heads hanging around with all these young people for, man? You're not annoyed? Yeah, I would have not been able to do that shit for 2 months. For real. This is why I do this. Because listen, I'm at an age in my life, man, where I'm not too young. I'm not young enough to be doing that. And I'm not old enough to be, you know, senile. So... come on, man. At your age, yo. I ain't got nothing against them and whatever, yo. Your lifestyle is whatever. I don't know. Maybe money made you feel like that's what you got to do or some shit. I don't know, man. But if whatever makes you happy, people, you know, doing shit with your wife and all that crazy shit, man, that do you, Mo. But I'm just saying, you already too old for that shit. If you was doing that shit before this, man, the bus done left you, my G.
I'm kind of joking about them being feds, okay? Like,
and she's young, so if she feeling that way,
from the FBI,
that's maybe everybody else's opinion.
Really don't know, but whether they are feds or not, it's pretty tacky and distasteful. It's almost like they're having like a haha, we were immune from this from the very beginning party. Like, they're talking about people who are not there to talk for themselves, and these are people that they know personally. It's also very strange. I just wanted to mention one part here. I mean, I watched this much. You see where my little red ticker is or whatever. But I think it's very interesting and very delusional that this DJ Vlad doesn't understand. I mean, his name's Vladimir, so it doesn't surprise me. But
fuck is he doing?
Understand about the First Amendment, the right to
culture vultures.
Fair use. We have DJ Vladimir.
And that's just my opinion. They never. If you guys don't think they're culture vultures, you don't have to. But I just feel like they weren't even rappers before. This is not like MC Search and the other dude from Third Base having a podcast. This is two non-rapping white boys integrated into hip-hop so deep that they're rolling around with the gang culture. Like, it's sweet. Like, they like 6'9", you know what I'm saying? Like, at least 6'9", we know it's 6'9", but these guys, we're about to find out. Because when they get thrown into the situation and we see that them motherfuckers don't get indicted for anything which they were already, you know, convoluting by allowing or whatever, if they don't find some crazy shit where these guys are not tied up, and God forbid they do, because why would they? But then you know that they did it because they knew they were privileged white people that was not going to get arrested. And that kind of like is just, you know, you use somebody else to further your gains in an industry where you didn't even grow up with that. Adam 22 was not rolling around with a bunch of hip hop dudes when he was young. This is not Logic or something like that. This is not, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's so many artists out there that are really like that, you know, like Little Peeps and real artists who are really like that, It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Like, he is so pressed that people use his content for their concerts.
And they're old enough to know better. If you know better, do better.
People use his content for separate things here and there. And he's like, I actually hired somebody to copyright every single one of my videos. It's like, wow, what a stupid idiot.
What a douche.
He paid someone to do something that already exists. You don't have to pay somebody to copyright your videos. That's the first thing that let me know that he's not as bright as he tries to act.
Just fucking put it on fucking YouTube.
He said he's going to start suing people for fair use. Well, good freaking luck with that, buddy, because you're going to to lose. I don't know if he's just trying to threaten people, like make them feel scared, because it almost feels like there's no way the man made it to 57 years old.
57?
And he doesn't understand in the content world how fair use works. And then just like
Vlad is
that,
old.
it's actually like a little bit distasteful because he's like deriving his entire income.
Oh, wow.
The entirety of his income is
He's
derived
way
from
older than
other
me.
people appearing
Way,
on his
way,
platform
way
and talking.
older
Like
than me.
no one is paying this man to show up and give his opinions.
Nobody is. And the fact that he thinks that his opinion is like moving the culture is crazy by positioning himself somewhere there. I don't know. I be feeling like he's a Fed sometimes. I don't know shit about this guy.
They even had a little like come to Jesus meeting yesterday. Another like kind of like victory lap. The ones that didn't get arrested in the Rico, and they called themselves the kings of hip hop commentary. Or
what the fuck is this? Oh my God! This is like the biggest, fucking craziest fucking combination of motherfuckers. I gotta draw this. I'm gonna fucking screenshot this, yo. No cap chat. I'm gonna have to. This is too crazy. This is the drawing I need right here. Let's screenshot that. Cause that was fucking crazy. You got Vlad, you got Harry Potter himself, Trap Lore Ross, you got academics, talk crazy to anybody. You got Whack 100. I don't got much to say about that guy, but he represents 6ix9ine, so let's just start there. And then you got back there. Who the fuck is that back there? And you got Adam 22. Is that AD back there? Is that fucking AD?
Or the kings of hip hop, something or the other, and it's like Adam Grand Mason 1622, DJ Vladimir, and this other like white man from Britain or something.
Oh, that's Charlemagne the God. Oh my God, what the fuck is Charlemagne doing there? Charlemagne, why are you co-signing these people, yo? The only official motherfucker in there right now representing the whole hip-hop culture. No offense, Whack 100. No offense, Whack 100. And I love academics until he did his crazy shit, and then it was just like, nah, it's not anymore. But come on, yo. Charlemagne, you just really do anything for clout, bro. For real, you sitting there with a bunch of... I know you wasn't shaking hands with none of these motherfuckers. I know you wasn't fucking past the blunt with none of these motherfuckers. I know you didn't bring your best bottle of your liquor for any one of these motherfuckers. I know that. Because you are on top. These were all your fans before you were even trying to listen to anything these motherfuckers had to say. All of these motherfuckers look up to you, and you're there with them, co-signing this shit.
Looking like he needed to go eat some beans and toast. Those are like crazy. 3 of the 5 kings of hip hop commentary. Like it's kind of confusing. Hip hop commentary.
That's some bullshit.
Today's video, and that is just to don't take my word for it. Let's look at
Yo, that was some bullshit. Yo. That surprise witness really.
People are right. Like,
yes.
They're like internet commentators about hip hop, and they're like both old
gossipers.
They both have a head full of hair plugs, and they are out here.
Yeah, they all need some hair.
Rico.
Somebody, I'm gonna donate my hair to these
other stuff too.
clowns.
They were advertising their illicit substance brands, partaking in other substances, clearly demonstrating their absolute, utter, and complete lack of understanding of how the U.S. copyright laws work. Poor thing. I mean, DJ Vladimir is getting taken for a complete ride by whoever this lawyer is. I mean, Jesus Christ, you don't even copyright every video on YouTube. It's already owned by you because you published it on your channel. Anyway.
Yeah, right. I just said that. Yo, she's the shit.
I don't know how many
oh
that
my
Adam
God.
normally gets anymore. I don't really pay that close of attention. But suffice it to say, nobody comes to look at what he has to say. Okay, so what I wanted to do is look at the comments. Because it looks like I'm not the only person who thought it was Fed Jumper and Agent Vladimir. Okay, I'm not the only one who thought this. Look at why
Agent Vladimir.
He said, I can't lie, seeing y'all together give off Fed vibes. Sure does.
My God.
I'm sorry, it just does. It just really does. It's almost like they're leaning into it. Finally, 2 of the top YouTube FBI agents meet to discuss their latest case.
No way.
Both of them have not only interviewed the people involved in this case, including the guy that is being alleged to be the AKA so-called ringleader, which I have my personal reservations on that theory at all, y'all. There's just no freaking way somebody that, I'm sorry, Big
God.
U, no offense, no disrespect intended. I'm actually like kind of like taking up
Yeah,
for you
no
right here, so,
disrespect
like,
to
keep it
anybody.
cute.
We just
There's no way a man that I've personally never heard of is the only one guy that every single celebrity has to pay royalties, dues, and fees to in the entirety of LA. I just don't
culture
believe it.
vulture. That's
I'm
what
sorry,
that
I
is.
just
That's
don't
a
believe it. I
culture
think this is bigger than him.
vulture.
They
He's like Christopher Columbus of rap culture.
have to take somebody down, and they're going after him. Now, does that mean he's completely innocent of everything he's ever been accused of? No, I mean, I don't know this man. Never heard of him in my life until last week, but it just doesn't pass the sniff test to me at all. I'm sniffing and the test is failing. But anyway, so yeah, they both have had conversations with Big U. They both have had conversations with BRICK Baby, who has his own federal indictment coming
These
down
guys
the
got those guys.
pipeways. We read that.
They got everybody
on the
arrested, man.
yesterday.
That's messed up.
Whack 100, who honestly, I'm gonna make a separate video about him.
Yeah, you have to.
A lot of
You
these
have
people
to.
remind me of like people I know, people I grew up around or whatever, and it's like, y'all, it's time to turn the page. It's time to transition into the next phase of life.
Yeah, grow
You don't have
up.
to be screaming to the top of your lungs trying to convince people of stuff anymore. Like, you know, those like real like
Yeah, no, it's facts.
Basically-
It's facts. What she's saying. You gotta grow up, man. You can't be the same guy. You can't. Not for the next 5 years.
real OGs that like
Mhm.
don't really say much at all.
Facts.
They don't speak unless really they have to, and
See? That's what I'm talking about. She's a smart cookie, my man.
unless like legitimately provoked. Like every single little thing is not a real provoke. Like if you respond to every little thing, Whack, and in the way that you do, screaming and
Yeah,
hollering,
he gets really excited. He gets extremely excited. Talk about he gonna like go outside and shoot 5. Like, come on, Unc.
like that, it actually makes you appear like less powerful. I'm just saying, you don't see a lion out here yapping. That's for hyenas to do, right?
Yeah, you the
So, I'm
OG.
just
You just
saying,
gotta
Whack,
snap your fingers.
like you actually remind me a lot of somebody I know. So it's like I
Aw.
have a little bit of a soft spot, but like y'all need to just stop doing this like thing where you start screaming and hollering, because what it actually appears to the outside world is you don't have the power that you want people to think you have, because you got to do all that hollering and yelling. The real people in charge do not have to do all that hollering and yelling. They don't
That's
have
a
to speak
lesson
very much
for.
at all,
That's a
you know?
lesson you
Like,
have to
they just
learn.
to give the look, and everybody in the room is like,
Mm-hmm.
once you resort to doing all that squawking like a hyena, like a toucan,
Mm-hmm.
that's
The
what you are.
hyenas. That's what they are.
Just think
Hyenas.
about it, just think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, can't lie, seeing y'all together giving off Fed vibes. Came straight to the comment. You didn't disappoint me. Finally, 2 of the top YouTube FBI agents meet to discuss their latest case. Vlad looks like a YouTuber picked him up off the side of the road and bought him clothes and a haircut for a video.
Wow.
Stop. It's
Wow.
also giving like youth pastor circa
Yeah.
2018. Like
Like when you grab your uncle and you try to dress him in your clothes.
youth pastor that gets the Jesus tattoo on the forearm. You know what I mean? Type thing. Okay. Let's
Oh my
move on to
gosh, she's
comments.
funny.
These two done locked up more rappers than the DA.
Oh my
It's
God.
the Feds podcast.
Oh
No
my
jumper,
God.
coolest police station in the world. This comment from TJ the Great. Agreed.
Oh my
I completely
God.
agree with this. The whole time I was watching this interview, and also the one of the greatest kings of hip hop or whatever they freaking came together and did.
That's too funny.
I don't know BRICK Baby from Adam, y'all. And Luce Cannon, you know, I never even heard the man's name. I thought his name was Luce. Okay. I did not know these people from freaking Adam. BRICK Baby, I had seen him before on No Jumper.
Oh
'cause
no!
he's on there
Yeah, I
on
saw
Watch.
him on No
And the
Jumper, but I
way
didn't know
that
what. I
Adam
thought he was just
Gray,
getting interviewed.
1622 of Nashua was interacting with BRICK Baby.
That was
It made me
crazy.
think like maybe they were cool, maybe they were friends. Okay. And if somebody that's my friend is being federally indicted on very serious
Yeah, why he ain't
charges,
trying to jump in there and save
first
him?
of all, I'm going to say that person is innocent
Mm-hmm. And
until
I'm gonna help him
proven
get it.
guilty, and I'm going to act accordingly. I am most likely not going to get together with all my friends and have a kiki victory lap that we didn't get arrested. And I'm so happy that I follow the laws, because as far as any of them are concerned, none of this stuff is true.
That's crazy.
The only stuff that can be absolutely verified is stuff that we can.
Yo, she's absolutely right, Chad. I'm about to get off of this because this live is long enough. But she's absolutely right, guys. If he used to put them on the show because there was boys, then why when he got knocked, he not talking about, yo, like the same way Kanye is saying about Diddy. He's like, free Diddy, right? He's like, don't, nah, this is bullshit. They just free Diddy, right? He said that. I didn't say that. You could go check this shit out. This is not even an opinion. This is something Kanye said about Diddy. And that's because they boys. So if BRICC Baby and Adam 22, which they're supposed to be boys. I mean, the guy's been on the no jumper more than once. Why he ain't trying to hold him down by saying, nah, my man's innocent on this shit. He would not have done something like that, and I hope they clear his name. Like, free BRICC Baby. He should be screaming, free the homies. Not saying, on my dads. You get what I'm saying? Like,
verifying the public record. So first of all, like, I would take that approach.
oh,
I'm sure, like, if I'm on the internet long enough and have enough friends long enough, eventually one of my friends is gonna be accused of something by somebody, and it may be true, it may not be true.
She's right.
But until there's something proven, you're not going to see me out here acting like has been indicted in a federal indictment. Yes, BRICC Baby. Also, Luce Cannon. Now, interestingly, there's a few interesting pieces to this whole thing. The first time that the public got wind that this BRICC Baby character was being arrested, indicted, anything had to do with this Big U Rollin 60s Crip neighborhood gang. And he was arrested as part of that so-called takedown. There was like 16 people arrested or something. Few people were arrested. And then the so-called alleged leader of the enterprise, Big U, he did apparently turn himself in. Now, there does seem to be some confusion because BRICC Baby, aka Zahir Mitchell, he was arrested with the Crips, Rollin 60 Crips takedown, but he is not listed as a defendant in the Rico case. So he's not being currently charged.
Well, guys, this is 5 days old. So if you guys want to see the whole clip, like I said, I have all of these in my description.
And is arrested, but
sometimes so go check that out
first, and then they're in custody, and then they do the grand jury indictment, and that looks like that's what happened with Big U. And there also, real quick before I pull that up, there also was one other document filed in BRICC. Hello everybody, how are you doing this fine Friday? Just wanted to come in and give y'all some BRICC Baby updates.
The latest.
This is docket. And as you can see, he has quite a few things now filed. 1, 2, we're still missing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where's 11? Where's 12? Oh, they're down here. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it looks like the only thing we're still missing here is 3, which may be the arrest warrant. I really don't know, but as you can see, it is starting to fill in. Well, we did get 2, actually, I guess 3 filings yesterday. Technically, it's 2 because there was an attachment on one of them, but there's like a totally separate document right here. But the long and short of it is BRICC Baby is trying to get out on bail. He had initially been denied bail, that is this right here, order of detention. And this was put in about 2 days after that original arrest.
I wonder why they denied him.
Remember, it was applied for all the way back in February. Okay.
What?
So up here at the very top, it does still say that his indictment is sealed. It is not sealed. The indictment is not sealed. I don't know why it says that. This right here, though, the government's ex parte application for order sealing indictment, that is still sealed. So I don't know if it's a glitch. I don't know what, but this thing right here has been on.
Yo, she be having the access. Yo, I'm telling you, she be having the access. You know how to find the shit.
Sealed for several days, maybe even like
shouts to that surprise witness. Go follow her. Go check out the whole clip in the description.
A week. I mean, it's actually never been sealed that I've known of it. Since I've known about it, it's never been sealed. So I don't know what the deal is with that. But I did want to pull up the document that BRICC Baby, it was his lawyer just filed. His lawyer's name is Megan Elizabeth Foster. Now, this comes right on the heels of some other news yesterday, the same day, March 27th, it was Thursday. Big U was officially indicted. Now, a lot of people are saying it's his second indictment. It's not his second indictment. An indictment comes from a grand jury, and sometimes the indictment already gets handed down before the person is arrested, but sometimes the person is arrested first, and then they're in custody, and then they do the grand jury indictment, and that looks like that's what happened with Big U. And there also, real quick before I pull that up, there also was one other document filed in BRICC Baby's case. Now remember, BRICC Baby, look right here, defendant, he has his own case. USA versus Mitchell. His name is Zahir Mitchell. BRICC Baby, Big T, MPA Montana, BRICC Baby Tro. I mean, girl, I don't know. But the other document that was filed yesterday, and we can take a look at that too. But the purpose of this document right here, docket number 20, is a notice of a, quote, related case. Now, we've already gotten notice of a related case in this BRICC Baby case, and that was that guy, Christian Forbes. Allegedly, the U.S. versus Christian Forbes, that's another person who was arrested in connection with this Rollin 60 Big U Enterprise takedown, Operation Drawdown. So this is the second filing that we do get of a related case, and that's Big U's. I mean, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. We all knew that. BRICC Baby's picture was right up there on the mugshot with all the rest of the drawdowns. So, I mean, that's not shocking. But let me pull up this document where BRICC Baby, he wants out. He's saying, all right, Judge, I hear you and all that, but excuse me, everybody else is out. Let me out. So the first thing
that's crazy. Everybody's out.
That exhibit that was attached to the application. All right, this is the 19-1. This was that Exhibit A. Notification regarding application for bail review or reconsideration of order setting conditions of release. So here, because BRICC Baby has already been denied bail, remember we talked about it, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where the judge had said that he's a flight risk, there's no set of conditions that will make sure that he will definitely show up for trial. Somebody in the community would be in danger for him being out. Now, people take that to mean that he would be a danger to someone in the community, but the way that it's written, he could be the one in danger. You know, I mean, a lot of people are out here saying he's an informant. A lot of people are out here saying that he is a snitch. People are out here saying he's got in prison, got in jail, excuse me. So if all that can happen, then, you know, it could be the case that he would be in danger. He could be in danger and not come up for a trial. Okay, so that's the notice, but let's take a look at the operative document, the actual request itself. And this was made just yesterday, Thursday, March 27th, 2025. You can see the date right there.
Yesterday, Thursday, 2025.
Reconsideration of the judge's order, which we're setting the conditions of release or detention. Okay, so this is the application if he would have been let out or if not. So the person would have to use this exact application in this form. They put the judge in here. They say the judge did this decision, Magistrate Judge Karen L. Stevenson, by order dated March 19th, 2025. So that was about 8 days ago. So about a week ago, whenever they actually did file it. And then it says a hearing is being sought before the judge as there is new information that was not considered by the previous judicial officer. And she checked, BRICC Baby's lawyer checked that box. So there is new information that we are going to get at this next.
So this is not over.
Okay,
it's about to get crazier.
The relief that's being sought. Remember, we're being told he has new information that maybe the judge would consider letting him out. Defendant seeks to be heard. That's BRICC Baby seeks to be heard. So he wants a hearing regarding a property bond. The proposed closely related surety lives in the subject property and has a substantial equity therein. Counsel provided documentation to both pretrial services and counsel for the government regarding the property, which was not available at the time of the arraignment and detention hearing. Okay, so what it looks like to me, and I did not really study federal criminal law, so listen, take this with a grain of salt. This is just my understanding of it. But what it appears is somebody is willing to put their house up.
That's what I understood too.
Somebody's willing to put their house up. Look at this. Defendant, that's BRICC Baby, seeks to be heard regarding a property bond. The proposed surety, the surety is the person who is going to, the guarantor, the person who's saying, I'm willing to give mom, put my property up so BRICC Baby could get out. She's closely related. So could it be his mom's putting her house up? It says the proposed surety, who's closely related, lives in the subject property. Okay, so the subject property would be the thing that you would put up as collateral. Remember whenever Diddy was trying to put up his $43 mansion that was gotten appraised by TriStar Sports Entertainment? He was like, here, court, Southern District of New York, if you let me out, I'll put up my house as collateral. And if I don't come and show up to trial and stuff,
You
you
could
can keep
it.
the house, $43 million. I'm not going to run away. It's $43 million on the line. Well, here's BRICC Baby's lawyer saying BRICK Baby wants to be heard regarding a property bond. The property that he wants to put up is being offered up by a closely related surety. She lives in the property and, quote, has substantial equity therein, which means she either owns it or she owns most of it. Maybe she has a mortgage. She's almost done paying it off or something like that. She's paid more than half, substantial equity in the property. So if BRICK Baby were to run away, she would lose that property. Counsel, the lawyer, BRICK Baby's lawyer, she says, I provided this proof, these receipts, this information to the other side, to the feds, and also provided the proof to the pretrial services department, which is the department that weighs in on terms and conditions of release. Like if you were to get released, they're the ones who kind of say, okay, well, should have an ankle bracelet, should have a house arrest, whatever the case may be. BRICK Baby's lawyer is saying, I tried to tell the other side this in pretrial services this, and they did not want to hear it. So, Your Honor, now I want to come to you and tell you, look, there's new information, there's this new property.
Yo, I hope they give him bail. If everybody else got bailed out, I don't understand why BRICK Baby's the only one stay there. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of crazy. So I hope they give him his bail. And guys, this live has been way too long. So we're going to wrap this up right now. I'll probably come back later, guys, and we're going to cover some other stuff. You already know. If for any one of these sources you want to see the videos, all the videos are in the description. Feel free to click on any video there. And guys, you already know these are trusted sources. These were, we were listening to people who have legal training and been to graduated from legal from law school. You know what I'm saying? So these people, I mean, don't take my word for it. Just go see for yourself, my G's. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't I might be a street dude and all that good shit, you know what I'm saying, that cleaned up his life and shit like that, and I might not have went to college or some shit like that, but I read, chat. I follow the smart people. You know what I'm saying? I know when I'm in the room and I'm the smartest person. If I'm the smartest person in the room, I leave that room and I find a room where I am not the smartest person. And in this industry, the YouTubers, there's a lot of smart people, but there's people who are just smart at what they do. This right here is smart, like universally smart. So when I see a YouTuber that covers the details the way she does, I bring that shit to you guys. You understand, guys? Because I trust in that source. So all links are in the descriptions, guys. Go subscribe, go follow, go donate, do all that cool shit. You know what I'm saying? And as well, don't forget to drop a big comment below. Tell me what else you want me to keep my eye on, keep tabs on. I'm probably gonna bring you more news on the Big U indictment with Luce Cannon, BRICK Baby, and the whole Rolling 60s situation. We want to keep an eye on that. And also, as the details come rolling in, I will give you some details on what's going on with the Wendy Williams conservatorship. That surprise witness been covering that as well. I've been so engulfed in that I felt like I should be reacting to this and just showing love by showing appreciation to the content and covering the content that I love so much. So, guys, you already know it's the Chi Challenge. It's Uncle Chi. Don't forget that caring, humble individual challenge means to care more for others than you care for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not to the point that you disregard yourself, but to the point that you can't care for people just because they care for you. Even if they don't care for you, even if they don't, you be caring to them. You know, the universe will find that person that will be caring to you, and that's what you call karmic law. So if you want good karma in life, don't worry about why you do it. Just know that you do it for a good reason, because that person might be the reason that you're there, and the universe put you in their path so you could be able to fulfill that one request that they might have had that you are the answer to. So you already know, guys. It's Uncle Chi, Tio Chi Chi Challenge. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, smash the like button, drop a comment below.